Well, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining me again here. I am your host, Kim, and welcome to Conversations with Kim talk show. Um, I want you to feel free to interact, to comment, to ask questions, because as I bring the host on, she'll be talking about various things, and I need you to be able to ask questions, and we'll be able to address those at the end. Um, I do want to say that want to send out my condolences to those that have suffered loss due to COVID-19. This pandemic is something that we have never seen before, and it has affected a lot of people. I am hoping that if you are here and you've been affected, that this environment might prove to be a safe place for you to interact and have a sense of community. Um, Next week, we are going to have a guest that will is a professional hairstylist, and she's going to be talking about um, how to maintain your hair during a pandemic. Many people are unemployed and money is tight. And so she will be able to give you some helpful tips about all hair types. So I don't want anyone to feel left out. All hair types will be addressed. So please join us next Thursday at 7 p.m. right back here, Eastern Standard Time. And if you're on the Central Time Zone, as I know many of the viewers are, that will be 6 p.m. Central. So I don't want to delay the time. I want to give our guest enough time to kind of talk and give us more insight into this school situation. It's on everyone's mind, everyone's talking about it. So, this is the time to really ask your questions. If you don't mind, please like and share this broadcast so that others might be able to come. You can feel free to invite others, and so that everyone can kind of join in, especially if they have little ones that are in school. So my guest today has over a decade as a teacher, a coach, and administrator. She is extremely passionate about inner city schools. Please help me welcome Assistant Principal of Instruction, Cyrstal Boyd. Hi, Krista. So we're trying to get your sound in there. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Yes, I can hear you. Thank you. Welcome to Conversations with Kim.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So you're the assistant principal. Let's just start there. What does that role entail?
So what that means is I do all the work and the principal gets all the credit.
Okay.
But to be specific, over instruction, I'm over all curriculum, all academics. So I coach and train teachers, lead professional development. I track student data. I meet with MTSS teams to support tiered level students, struggling students, to come up with recommendations to support them and make accommodations and adjustments as we go. I handle all of the testing facilitation at the local and state level. I serve on hiring committees. I assist with setting goals and tracking goals for teachers, students, as well as the school overall.
Awesome. Awesome. So tell me about your passion for inner city schools.
So I myself am a product of inner city schools. I was born and raised in Far Rockaway, New York. That's in Queens. And I think when I got out of college, I didn't think so much about education. And I went with one of my nephews to his parent-teacher conferences, thinking nothing of it. And while sitting there, the energy in the room from the teacher was everything he's not doing. And it just wasn't one nice thing that was said about him. And so with all that she was saying, it sounded to me like, so he's struggling. So what else other than what you're doing for for the general students can be done? At the time, I knew nothing about differentiated instruction, but I knew that my nephew was a kid who can learn when he was at home with me. So why couldn't he learn in this classroom? That pushed me to go into education. I wanted to be the change, not talk about it. And so I did. And it was the best thing I could have done because it allowed me to literally help kids who look like me and kids who are struggling and are often labeled. It helped me open them up to learning in a different modality, in a different way, but nonetheless learning and able to meet the same standards and guidelines as any other student in the school.
Awesome. The biggest obstacle for inner city students learning at home?
I'll say support, and that's on every level. I'll start with academics. Oftentimes, we have parents who don't have the capacity to support their students in the work that they bring home. Whether it be they don't have the patience, they don't have the knowledge, they don't understand the dynamics of what the student needs to do. They don't understand the work. The other level is emotional. There are a lot of our students who have multiple siblings, multiple other, kids. And when they come to school, they somehow find someone that makes them feel like they are everything. I have a student who, again, I'm not a teacher in the classroom, but every day she finds her way to my office for a hug. She and I started, a little book. She was like, "Can you read this book with me?" Sure. And we literally would meet once a week for lunch and discuss the chapter of the book and etc. They crave the nurture and attention that they receive from different individuals at school and in inner city schools. The staff is aware that that's a layer that we foster, that we encourage you to do, to be that support system in that way. So I think that's a support that at home is no longer exists. And then the social component of things. Although students have other siblings at home, they aren't in the same age band, into the same things. They aren't, they're not BFFs. You come to school and
Right.
you are discussing and talking about and, sharing opinions and advice on the same topics. That element dissipates when they're at home.
Okay, so that's a lot that we did not really think about because we're not in education.
Yeah.
So my question is, if the kids are going to be at home being schooled due to the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
what do you foresee the fallout might be when they do come back into the classroom? Let's just say the start of the school year for 2021, fall 2021.
So I think there's going to be inner city schools have this culture of cooperative learning, of collaboration, where students do a lot of working together to solve problems, working together on, different assignments. I think with students being at home and kind of in silos, there's going to be an adjustment getting them back into the fold of how do I work together as a group to get this common thing done, to meet this goal? And how do I do it safely? Because kids are coming back to school with a lot of anxiety, same as adults are. And that's a real thing that, we once shared pencils and crayons and, notebook paper and everything. And now schools are being put together and trained to do nothing of the sort. Everyone's sort of at their own desk in their own space with their own supplies.
Right.
So, there's a lot of adjustment in that space that has to be done.
Okay. Okay. So do you feel like it's going to affect their grade level, their level of learning if they're at home for a year, or going back and forth, home and in the classroom?
So I think any disruption, transfer here to there, is a disruption, and it can impact the learning. I think you have to be strong in your curriculum and purposeful in the instruction you're delivering. Like, we've done a lot of work with cutting back on what we're going to focus on for that very reason in terms of the learning standards, because you can't get everything in there in this manner in which learning will now look like. So what do we focus on? What can we master? What can we get students to achieve in this way of learning and in this time frame? I will share, I work in Hillsborough County in Florida, and they just had the board vote a few hours ago, and they have decided that they will not open brick and mortar, meaning with students coming into the buildings. They will open e-learning.
Oh, wow.
So for the first few weeks of school, students will be back to e-learning. Now, what I will say is e-learning this time around looks a lot different than e-learning did in March. And that is, we've had time to plan. Like, we've had a whole summer that we knew this could be an option. So we've done a lot of planning, a lot more, been a lot more purposeful with accounting for all those systems of support, that emotional, that social, that academic. So we are not going to say, I'm not going to say that it won't be a negative impact to the academics, but I feel like the blow will be less than what it was if we would have continued in the way we were in the last quarter of last school year.
Okay. Okay. Wow. What tips can you give to parents?
You're not in this alone. When your teachers say that they're there, they really are. They mean it. They want to hear from you. They want to know what's going on. They want you to say, hey, explain it to me, or explain it to my child. Like, we have teachers who are literally on Zoom calls with students and parents in the evening hours at 7 o'clock at night, because that's what works for the parent schedule. We are totally understanding of, you have to work, and your work may be first shift, second shift, or third shift. So when you're available, we will try to make ourselves available. Like, teachers, staff, everyone who works in inner city schools, we know the challenges that are faced on a day-to-day basis. Our hearts are in this work. We're not in this just, because we woke up and said, oh, let's try it. Like, our hearts are in this work. So we want parents to know, we don't expect you to become the teacher. We don't want you to try to be the teacher. Reach out to us. And I understand that some of our parents may not want to ask for that. Shoot an email. We have different Class Dojo, Remind. We have all these various apps that they can communicate with teachers through for the sake of getting the assistance that the child needs. Because at the end of the day, if they don't speak up, the child is the one who loses. The other thing, beyond academics, the school has a plethora of resources to support parents in the community, whether it be financial, whether it be, we had some families who were in the dark, no lights. Like, we have resources that we can, send you to and give you that can support you in that way. So, school really is more than just academics, and we want parents to know that.
That is, I did not know that. I didn't know that they could get more than just the education. And I love the fact that the the teachers and the people there, they're accessible outside of regular classroom time, right? So I guess the key is right now is communication, communication.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Okay. And so if you could send a message to the students, if this was your town hall, what would that message be? I mean, I really want you to kind of just go from A to Z and really talk to the students because we really don't know
Yeah.
how many times this is going to be shared.
Mm-hmm.
May use this as a tool to speak with their children.
Yeah.
We just don't know. So as the assistant principal in Hillsborough County, talk to the students.
We want you to know that we miss you. We think of you constantly. Like, you are continuously in our thoughts, on our minds. We want to make sure that you're okay, your well-being. And we've given you a lot in terms of using your voice to be an advocate for yourself. Use that to speak up for when you need something for school, when you need something for your person, when you're not feeling well. You have a voice and you need to use it to speak up and be your own advocate. We use a curriculum that's called EL education, and the whole premise of it is about empowering students to be change agents. And in that, this right here is a prime example of them being forced to use their voices to speak up for themselves. And I want to encourage them and remind them to do that. And whenever you need someone to stand with you in that, your teachers are available, your administrators are available, your staff is here to support you. So I just want to end with telling them again that we miss you, we love you, and we are with you.
Awesome. Awesome. So we are at the Q&A portion. And I do see Cora is asking, how can we better support our teachers and administrators so that we can maximize e-learning for our children?
So now, when she's saying how can we better support, is she meaning parents?
I think that just the community.
Okay.
Yeah, because I actually know Cora, and so her daughter is not at school age yet.
Okay.
I know that she has a passion for volunteering and getting involved. And so, myself, how can we better support our teachers and administrators?
So I will say things like supplies, things like, anything that so we have, with being an intercity school, we are a Title I school, which means more than 70% of our population is on free lunch. So we had a community member share with us a resource that provided food boxes that we can literally, nobody had to sign anything. Parents didn't need to give like their social security numbers or anything like that. They gave it to the school and we opened it up for parents to come. And these boxes had, meat, they had fresh fruit and fresh vegetables that we were able to provide to families who needed it. And again, some of our families have as much as 6 students in our school. So there are people that
wow.
As far as supplies, being that it's e-learning, many of our students come to school without supplies to begin with. The teacher and the school provides that. Now that they're home, who's providing that? So another thing that we did, we had a number of people come and drop supplies off to the school. We made bags up and we had some of our support staff that were in the office, literally for parents who were saying like we didn't have, or students who were saying we didn't have. They literally went to the door, hung it on the doorknob, and let them know like your supply bag is there. So anything like that, and anything like if you have like mental health resource, counseling resource, any of those things, call your local school and simply extend that service, extend that, hey, I'm here, I have this available for anyone who needs it. Because if you have it available, chances are we have a parent and a family who needs it.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay, so that is phenomenal. I'm not sure if we have any more questions in the chat. I'm going to give it a few minutes, but this has been so informative, Crystal. I had no idea, and of course, you know, as you know, my mom's a teacher.
Yes.
So
I love her.
Right? So, but I still, I mean, I hear what she says, and I know, right, you know, what she deals with. And you're right; she's always buying stuff for the kids, and she's always going over and above for the children. So, you know, it's more like a calling. It's I mean, I know I couldn't do it. Like, she wants me to come into education, and I was like, you know, no, I can't, right? But I can't. But I think that it is such a rewarding career, because you do get a chance to see that developmental increase, yes, in the child, and see them develop and become, you know, a little functioning citizen, yes, you know, in the community.
Yes.
So, and so what would you say has been your greatest reward, you know, and in your job?
I think when a student realizes they can do it and they then take control of their learning. So we do a lot of goal setting with our students. And what that is every child takes a diagnostic that kind of tells them where they are. So I may be a fifth grader, but this test may tell me that I read at a third grade level. This test may tell me I read at a, you know, sixth grade level, and anything in between. Wherever they are, we sit and support them with, okay, this is where you are. This is where you need to be, right? These are the increments. These are the things we can do to help get you there. And once you sort of do those like mini goals, getting up to the big goal, and students get that first like, oh, I met the goal.
Right.
Second one, and then from there, they come to you with, okay, I got this score, and now I think I can make it this, you know, I can get this much, and I can get this percent. And to see them sort of, to watch a student transition from being sort of like the class disruptor to being a teacher assistant, because everybody has to be quiet because it's time to learn, is just beautiful, because you can't take that away from them. That hunger for knowledge, that drive, that, you know, that sense of knowing that I can do it, that assurance, you can't take that from them. And once they have that, the sky becomes the limit.
Awesome.
So I think each time I see that in a student, it's like another sort of, you know, notch in my belt. Like, there's another one. There's another one.
Awesome.
Lifelong learners.
Awesome. Awesome. I don't want to end, but this is all we have time for today.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being with us. We definitely need to bring you back and share some more insight and wisdom as it pertains to education.
Yes, ma'am.
Again, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. And so I just want to say that a lot of information was shared today. If you know anyone that is in a elementary, grade school type situation, or you have a parent that, you know, even might be struggling with the resources and how to make sure that their child is getting the same level of education at home, please share and tag that parent. Be sure that this segment gets the exposure that it needs, because right now people are seriously concerned about their children. They're seriously concerned about them going back into the classroom in the midst of a pandemic. So I'm just grateful that that Crystal was able to be with us today. And I want to thank you for joining me today and being a part of this village. So just remember, silence creates distance, and conversations with Kim builds the village. Thank you.